Hey guys, welcome back to Bow's Fan TV, and today it's that time of year again. We are going to be doing our League of Ireland table predictions for the 2023 season. Yeah, looking forward to it. Kicks off Friday. Hopefully, we have a competitive season to come. Hopefully, a good one for Bows as well. Better than last year, hopefully, anyway. Plus, we'll get straight into it anyway. Bottom of the league again. It's no surprise really. I've gone for UCD. I think most people have them bottom of the league this year. Um, I'm just looking at their incumbents here. They haven't really, obviously, it's UCD. They're not going to pull, like, going to sign any world beaters, are they? But they signed Brendan Barr from Derry, Adam Wells, and Mikey Raggett from Shamrock Rovers. Daniel Kinsley Bishop, I think he's come up from the Major Senior League, and Sammy Clark from Athlone. Again, I've heard of Brendan Barr, but I don't know any of the others really, and I'm more looking at their routes as well, really. They've lost Evan Carfrey to Shells, Tommy Lonergan to St. Pat's, Colin Whelan to Derry. I know he was injured for the majority of last year, but he's still he's still a good goal scorer, and I think that's a good sign for Derry as well. Sean Brennan as well. He's a tidy player in the midfield. They've lost him to Drogheda, and Dylan Duffy, arguably their best player last year, has gone to Lincoln. Um, yeah, I think it's more around for me that's concerning. They've kept hold of a few decent players. Jack Heaney's been there a while, and Sam Todd, he's a good defender, but I can't help but feel he'll be off to another Dublin club in the summer, maybe a Bows or a Rovers. But we'll wait and see. Um, yeah, again, I think it's just the routes really. They haven't really brought anybody in. It's going to be a struggle for them to finish anywhere above 10th. So I've gone for UCD bottom of the league. On to ninth, I've gone for Cork. Again, I think a few people might have them a bit higher, but I'm just not really not convinced that they have the squad to finish any higher. They brought in a couple of good players. Awalabi from St. Pat's, he never really got going there, but um, if you can, get consistent first team football at Cork, which I'm sure he will. I think he will do well there. Even Variants come in on loan from us as well. I think he's a decent striker. He showed a little bit of form for us towards the end of last year, but um, he, with the options we have now up front, I don't think he was really going to get a game. So I think a long move to a decent club like Cork, um, back where he's from, he might do him good. So hopefully he does well there. Toby Oluwemi, I'm probably going to butcher a lot of these, but he's coming on loan from Celtic. Alban Winbo, Kevin Kustovic has come in on loan from Vejle. I think that's how you pronounce it again. Correct me if I'm wrong, Cork fans, but I'm pretty going to butcher a lot of these. Daniel Kresic has come in on loan from Degerfors as well. Or not loan, sorry. I think that was permanent. Again, I don't know if it's pronounced Degerfors or something else, but yeah, I think that they're kind of gambling on a few lads from abroad to come in and do well. But I think there's a few decent players there in the squad already that they had last year. The likes of Barry Coffey and Aaron Bolger. These are good players that did well in the first division last year. Yeah, they've lost what's his name? David Harrington. He's gone to Fleetwood. He's a decent goalkeeper. That's a bit of a loss, but they still have Jimmy Corcoran, and he's a decent keeper. But I do think they probably will struggle to finish anywhere below maybe eighth or above eighth. Sorry. I think it's between them and another club that I have an eighth for that ninth spot. But yeah, I think it's more just kind of feel they have the squad. Are they going to settle into the first division? Um, or the Premier Division, sorry, from the first division. How quickly will they get going? So yeah, I've gone for them in ninth. The club I've gone with in eighth is Drogheda. Yeah, I've kind of debated whether should I put Drogheda in ninth, but I thought that they just had a bit of a better team than Cork. Look at the signings that they've made. Sean Brennan from UCD, a good tidy player in the midfield. Aaron McNally from Brazos Valley Cavalry. I think he was there previously a few years ago, so they brought him back. Michael Daly's come in on loan from Rovers. Ben Curtis is a decent young player. They signed him from Pats. Fikra Pagel has come in on loan from Forest Green. Connor Keely's a good signing as well. He's a good, strong defender. He was linked with us. He was linked with Dundalk as well, but he's ended up at Drogheda. Emmanuel, God, I'm not going to butcher this. Adeg Boyega. Has signed from Dundalk. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, Drogheda fans, if I pronounce that wrong. But Charlotte Jones coming in from Athlone and Alicia Huey, I think. Again, I've probably butchered that. And Freddie Draper are coming along from Lincoln. So you never know what them two lads will be like. They'll come in on loan with points to prove, I suppose, that they want to stay at Lincoln, and maybe the League of Ireland could be a good meal for them to show that. Yeah, I think they will struggle a little bit this year. I think they do have a bit of a better team than Cork. That's why I've not put them in ninth in that playoff spot. They've lost a couple of key players. Andrew Quinn, he's a good player for them. He's gone to Shells. They've lost Dane Williams to Bowles. But other than that, no one major really. And I think there's definitely a lot of quality in the squad already. Anyway, from the previous year, what's his name? Darren Markey. He was heavily linked with us in the off season. He's opted to stay at Drogheda, which was a surprise to a lot of people. I thought he would have gone to maybe like a Ulster or maybe back to Pats or another Dublin club. But he stayed at Drogheda, and I think a big the biggest signing in itself, I suppose. Even though he's already there, he was a very good player for them last year. A very tidy player in the midfield. We still got players who can score goals, like Adam Foley. Evan Weir is a decent defender as well. So, they've got good players already. And I do think it will be a bit of a struggle for them this year, but I do expect them to just stay clear of that playoff spot. In seventh, this may surprise a few people, but I have gone with Sligo. Again, they've kind of gambled on a few players from abroad. They've lost a few key players as well. Looking at their incumbents, they brought in Johan Brandfolk from Norby, Danny Lafferty from Derry, Lucas Browning from Dalkurd, James Finnerty from Bowles, Nando Poinacker, they made his loan permanent. Gary Boylan from Galway, but I think he got a bad injury in pre-season, so I think that could rule him out for quite a while. Bagdon Vastuk, it's only an international from what I've seen, so maybe he can come into the league and just boss it, but it could take him a little while to settle in. John Mahon, they brought him back from St. John's Snapper, didn't really work out from there. That's a very good signing. He's someone I would have loved at Bowles. Reece Hutchinson as well to come in on loan from Cheltenham. I think that was kind of maybe part of a deal for Keane to go there as well. Obviously, that's a huge loss. League's top goal scorer last year, their best player. He's gone to Cheltenham. You know, I think yeah, looking at that squad, I think they are going to struggle to score goals this year. Bowles have took Paddy Kirk and Adam McDonald off them as well. Two players that I've seen a few Sligo fans saying sort of mixed things about McDonald, but I think a lot of Sligo fans would agree that Paddy Kirk was a very good player for them last year, and that's a big loss. Shane Blaney as well has gone to Motherwell. They've lost a few decent players, and I think if looking at that team, you're just struggling to see where the goals are going to come from. Um, so yeah, I can't see them having a bit of an underwhelming season. There's still a few players there that can score goals. Probably Max Mata, Frank Levac, Carlos Sullivan. They're good players, but you know are they going to do it really? Are they going to score enough goals to not keep them up? Like they're not going to be fighting relegation or anything, but are they going to score enough goals to kind of fire them into a European fight? I'm not so sure. So I've gone with them in seventh. In sixth, I've gone with Shells. Um, I do think they are a good side. Look, a lot of Boss fans won't like me saying that, but I do think they have some decent players. I do think they'll have a good year. I think they probably would take a sixth place finish. They were promoted last year, and I think it was kind of unsure how Buff would do, and he did a decent job. I know people would say they didn't. I don't think they won a league game from July till the end of the season, or maybe they only won one or something like that. I remember seeing a stat like that, but still got to a cup final. they brought in a few decent players: Conor Kearns from Galway, Tori Wilson from Bowls, Quell Robinson from Pats, Andrew Quinn from Drogheda, Evan Caffrey from UCD, Matty Smith, he made that loan permanent from Derry, Paddy Barrett from Pats, and Kane Levy on loan from Redden. Some decent players in there, players with experience, the likes of Paddy Barrett, Matty Smith played in the league for a while now, Andrew Quinn and Evan Caffrey are two decent young players. Kyle Robinson as well. Wilson had a mixed season for us last year. Um, a lot of people would say that maybe he just didn't really, Keith Law maybe gave them the captain's armband at the start of the season, kind of, put the weight of the world on his shoulders a little bit. But I don't think he had a particularly good season with us last year. I wasn't really too bothered to see the back of him, but maybe under Duff he can find a bit of form. He's a player that likes to get forward and put balls into the box and take free kicks. So maybe Duff can get that out of him because I think he does sort of play left, wing backs on the occasion, Duff, but that could suit him. Again, else they haven't really lost anyone big or anything. Players like Dan Carr and players like that kind of had to go. I suppose Stephen Negru, a good young player, he's gone to Oxford. Brendan Clark went to Galway. Aaron O'Driscoll left. He hasn't got a club yet, I don't think. So yeah, no one really major leaving the club. They've kept hold of their better players as well, the likes of Shane Farrell and Jack Moylan and Sean Boyd, players that were big for them last year. They've kept hold of them, and I think they could have a good year this year. They could push higher. They could push for maybe fifth or even a European spot. You never know, but I do think they will probably finish around mid-table. I think most their fans would take that. Given how Duff was coming in and no one was really sure how it would work out, and I think so far he's done a decent job. But in the league, they were a bit underwhelming towards the end of the season. But I think this could be a good season for Shells. So on to fifth. I have gone for Bows. Obviously, I'd like to put us higher, but I just don't think our business so far. I think in the attacking areas we've definitely improved. But I think it's the defence really that needs improving big time still. And it's the 14th today, and what how many days until the season now? 3 days or so, and we still haven't got. I know we saw the defender there last night, but we still need more. Look at the incomers. We brought Bucko back. We brought Paddy Kirk back. We signed Adam McDonald from Sligo, James Akintunde from Derry, Dean Williams from Drogheda, Grant Horton's come back on loan from Cheltenham. We signed Luke Dennison from Longford, goalkeeper, Dylan Condy from Morecambe, Jay Ben on loan from Lincoln, and Kasper Radkowski from Slask. Slask Rocklaw. Again, I probably butchered that, but he came in on loan last night. I know he was on trial with us a few times over the past few weeks, so it's good to see that he's signed now. Also, before I started the video, I was saying Ryan Berg has gone to Waterford, which is a bit of a surprise. Now we only have one left back. It's a bit weird that we're letting the defenders go when we're so short of them. Maybe we have something up our sleeves. I don't know. Just thought I'd say that before we got onto the incomings or the outgoings. Um, no one could be out. We've lost Mullins to Brighton. I think that was always inevitable. He was probably going to go to England at some stage. It would have been nice to keep it for another year, but it is what it is, really. Best of luck to him. Levinson, he's gone to Wexford. I think that probably had to happen. He just wasn't, he's been a solid player for us over the past, 4 years. He's been at the club, but I think it was probably time for him to go. Wilson's gone to Shells, as we touched on there. Bird's gone to Rovers. Aaron Doran's gone to Wexford. Junior's gone to Glentoran. Jordan Doherty went back to America. Max Murphy, I think, is another one that probably had to go. He's gone to Bray. Um, Kieran Kelly has gone to Bradford, which is a bit of a surprise. I didn't expect him to go to England, but he was a solid player for us, I suppose, over the course of his time at the club. But it was a bit of a surprise to see him getting moved to England. Albeit, it is League Two. I think he probably would do well there. He's got the sort of physical build of a League Two defender, but um, yeah, it was a bit of a surprise to see him go to Bradford. Dale and McCracken, they didn't really play. Their loans ended. Twig Ryan's gone to Derry. Finnerty's gone to Sligo. Ethan Varian's gone on loan to Cork. Gavin O'Brien went to Longford. Rory Feely's gone to Barrow as well. That was another surprise, I suppose, to see him go to England. I thought towards the back end last year he was actually quite good for us, but he was still sort of he would pull off the odd blunder at times, I suppose. But look, best of luck to him. I think I think he got sent off for Barrow there at the weekend, but so he's already settling in very well, I suppose. But um, yeah, look, best of luck to him. I think that is probably a good move for him. He has got kind of like I said about Kelly, he's probably got the physical build of a kind of League Two defenders. I think he might do well there. And Josh Kerr's left the club as well. That kind of came out of nowhere. I'm not sure where he's going to go. Obviously Borg has gone in the last few minutes there as well, so that was a bit of a surprise. No, look at the players that we re-signed. Suppose you know most of the players were there last year. Talbot, O'Sullivan, Twardick, Flores, Afolabi, Clark, these players that we have kept hold of that um and he cute as well. I think a lot of people are surprised to see him stay on. I think a lot of people are expecting him to leave. I think that they're good good it's good to see them stay on. Afolabi as well, I think he's in for a big season. He was injured for the majority of last year. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how we get on. Obviously, I think it's the defence really that's kind of putting me off putting us any higher. Hopefully, anyway, before the window closes, we'll get a couple of more defenders in, um, and see where that takes us. But I do think we can push higher. I was debating whether to put us maybe a bit higher, but I have gone for another team in fourth, which we'll get onto in a few moments. But um, yeah, it's just the defence. But attacking wise, it's looking good. Conley's come in from Morecambe back in Tunde. Afolabi's come back from injury. Dane Williams has come in from Drogheda, who's pressing pre-season. Buko's come back. He'll bring that bit of leadership that we were lacking last year. So yeah, I do think we can push higher and have a good season, but it's just the defence at the moment that's kind of putting me off putting us any higher. On the fourth, I have gone for Dundalk. Again, I think a bit like Sligo, they are kind of gambling on a few players from abroad that no one's really heard of. But they still have a lot of experience in that team that they managed to keep hold of. Like Human and Ward and Leahy and Benson and Mountney, Robbie McCourt, Paul Doyle, Daniel Kenny, Alfie Lewis, good players, Andy Boyle. These players have played in the league years now and know what it's like to play in these sort of in these big games across the country. The players that he brought in, Louis Ainsley's come in from Blackburn, Hayden Muller has come in from Millwall, Connor Malley's come in from Rochdale, Cameron Elliott's come in from East Kilbride, and Archie Davis is signed from Aldershot Town. Again, no one's really heard of them players, let's be honest, but you know, I think they are kind of banking on players that have been there previously to kind of get them going. We all know that Pat Hilton, I know he's kind of tailed off a little bit towards the last couple of years, but he has the ability to score goals. Darley, he's a good defender. They have kept all the good players. Nathan Shepherd is a very good goalkeeper as well. Look at the players that they've lost. There are a couple of loans that ended. Stephen Bradley impressed. His loan ended at Hibs. He's gone back to Hibs. Lewis McCarry, who was on loan from Stoke, he impressed. He's gone back there. Again, Macmillan and Brian Gartland retired. And Joe Adams has left. Sam Bone into Maidstone. Yeah, they've lost a couple of players, but I still think they have the experience to get into Europe. Obviously, fourth doesn't guarantee you that, but it depends on the cup winners. But it's just that experience that they have, that I think might just pip them the balls for that fourth spot. In third, I've gone for Pats. I think they have made a few very good signings that could prove to be very very fruitful for them. Tommy Lonergan's come in from the UCD. He impressed for them last season. He scored goals for them. Vladislav Kreda has come in from Florida Talon on loan. Jake Mulroney, which I think could be one of the signings of the window, if not the signing of the window, has come in from Orlando City. Noah Lewis has come in from Willem's B team, and Connor Carty is signed on loan from Bolton. Yeah, some good signings in there. Mulroney, I think that could be a very good signing. If he's fit and firing, he could easily be up there one of the best in the country. Re-signed players that they re-signed. They kept all the Forrester and Jamie Lennon, Breslin, and Joe Redmond. So they have something to build on there. Mark Doyle, Owen Doyle. I know Owen Doyle. A lot of people said that he'd come in and score loads of goals, but didn't really didn't really quite go that way. Um, there's always this season for him to settle into to the league, and maybe he can find some form. Obviously, it was probably a bit of a blow for them not to get Barry Carter in on a permanent. He's gone to Barnsley. He impressed a lot for them last season. So yeah, look, there's a good side there, a very good side there, and I think they will finish third. Again, like I said, Mulroney, that could be one of the signs of the window. Vladislav Preda, we don't know what he's like. He's coming on loan from Florida Talon. Tommy Lorgan, good player, UCD, scored goals. Noel Lewis and Connor Carty come in from abroad. We don't know what they're going to be like, really. They could be very good players, or it might take them a little bit of time to settle in. But there's a spine of a good team there, and I do think they will finish third. On the second, I have gone for Derry. Look, there's cup winners. I think they definitely can push. They can push Rovers this year for the title, but I just think they may miss out. Look at the players that they brought in. Colin Whelan's come in from Derry. He's yeah, injured for the majority of last year, but um, if he's fit and firing, he can definitely come in and score goals. Twyg Ryan's come in from Bowles. He'll probably just be a backup to Maher. Ben Doherty's come in from Larne. Adam O'Reilly, again, a player that really impressed at Pats last year, has come in from Preston. And Matthew Ward has signed on loan from Ipswich. Look at the outs. They haven't really lost anyone too key to them, I suppose. Danny Lafferty's gone to Sligo. Akinfunde's gone to Bowles. He was a decent player for them, I suppose. But he scored goals. Like, he didn't really start a lot of games for them. You look at the players that they kept hold of, McElhenney and Duffy, these are players that struggled with injury last year, but if they're fit and firing, they're definitely up there, one of the best in the country. McGonigal, he's a good player. Roland Boyce, Kieran Call, there's experience there and quality as well. And I think Mark Conley as well, he'll be fit and firing this year. He kind of struggled with injuries, but honestly, he's a top defender. So yeah, there's a very good side there that can definitely push Rovers, but I just feel that Rovers will have that fight and hunger in them for that fourth title in a row. We'll obviously get on to them in a minute. It pains me to put them top of the league, but I just think that they have the best squad. Let's be honest. But yeah, I think Derry could have it. They could give them a real goal this year, but I have gone for Rovers at the top of the table. You know, look at the players that they brought in. I suppose Burt from Bows. Obviously, it was disappointing to see Burt go, but look, we didn't want to play for us. He can go. He knows what the door is, but um, yeah, you could tell towards the end of last year that he'd kind of lost the interest, and there was obviously a lot of rumours about Rovers anyway from the summer. I think he can definitely be a very good player for them. Johnny Kenny's come in on loan from Celtic, had a very good spell at Sligo before going to Celtic, and he was on loan somewhere. I think it was at Queen's Parks. He's come on loan to Rovers. Trevor Clark come back on loan from Bristol Rovers. Marcus Pilgrim and signed on loan from Florida Talon. They're good. These are players that could definitely come in and boss the league, like Marcus Pilgrim. I've heard a lot of good things about him from pre-season. Johnny Kenny, as a signed from Sligo or from Celtic, I should say. Obviously, he was at Sligo and doing really well. Bert, again, not lost anyone huge. Andy Lyons, I suppose, is a bit of a blow. He was obviously one of our better players last year. He's gone to Blackpool, but they've retained all their better players. Byrne was struggled a bit last year with injuries, but if he's fit and firing, he's definitely arguably the best player in the league. Graham Burke, Rory Gaffney, who scored a lot of goals from last year, important goals as well. Daniel Cleary came in summer and done well. Sorry, excuse me. And look, I think it will be hard for teams to catch up. The only team I can really see pushing them is Derry. And yeah, I do believe Rovers get that fourth in a row. Look, hopefully anyway. It's a good season. Obviously, it kicks off on Friday. Good season for Bows as well. Hopefully, obviously, I'll have the Cork preview out on Thursday. But yeah, again, I can't see really, I can only see Derry and Rovers really pushing it for the title, and I do think the Rovers will just about get there. So yeah, that's where I'm going to end the video. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment down below your predictions, and I'll see you for the car preview on Thursday. Bye bye.